Hello, welcome to the Cricket Nerds, or Cricket Nerd, because it's just me today. We've had a few logistical nightmares with trying to get us all together to pod. So we thought the best idea is getting a pod out to you guys, a reaction of what has been two good days play. We've had Australia versus India and day one, and England versus New Zealand day two. And there's lots to talk about. So we thought we have to have at least a pod today. So I thought I'd jump on and we're going to do that together now. So we're going to start with looking at India and Australia. And yeah, an interesting day's play. Australia won the toss. They chose to bat. And it started off with not much happening for the seamers, although Shami seemed to bowl really well despite that. It's it's the sort of pitch where it's obviously going to be good for spin, not much in it for the pacers. And so I think Australia have done the right thing in picking three spinners. However, the way Shami bowled today, it could have been, well, he kind of took the pitch out of the equation. It just bowled really well. And it was hard for David Warner, right? It was very hard for David Warner. He was hit on the arm, he was hit on the helmet, but he couldn't hit the middle of the bat. And I think it hit him everywhere except the middle of the bat, really. And it's hard for David Warner at the moment. He's really struggling away from home, and the round the wicket angle was just did for him in the end. We've seen it in the Ashes a couple of years ago with Stuart Broad getting on top of David Warner bowling around the wicket. It seems to be something that he either needs to work on or just accept that he's got a weakness against it and try to come at it another way. Maybe play more attacking against that angle. But although Shami bowled really well, Ashwin was again the pick of the bowlers. Yeah, you just can't get him away. He's just so difficult to face. He's a very, very clever bowler, and he knows how to bowl and get wickets in India. There's just nothing there for the batsmen. They can't really take him on and put him under pressure. And we talked about that in our lead up to this match. We said, what does Ashwin need to do? What do the Australian batsmen need to do? They need to play attacking against the spinners. They need to take them on, and it's so hard against Ashwin and Jadeja as well, for that matter, who also picked up 3 wickets and looked really good. And also going off Jadeja, he got his 250th wicket. He did very well. He got the breakthrough, really, of getting rid of Usman Khawaja. And at that stage, Australia were looking okay, 167 for 4. Still a lot of batting to come. But yeah, Jadeja, he picked up that wicket with a very good catch from Rahul. It was that little bit of something that India needed to kind of get that momentum and end up bowling Australia out for what was probably below par. But yeah, very good catch from Rahul, who is coming under a lot of scrutiny at the moment. But that catch allowed Jadeja to get to 250 Test wickets, and that man, he's doing all sorts for India at the moment. He's doing very well with the bat. He's one of the best batsmen in the world statistically over the last few years. And also he's taken 250 Test wickets, which is no mean feat. So yeah, he's a very, very handy player for India and would get into any side in the world, in my opinion. But yeah, Peter Hanscom, he played a very good innings with the tail, along with Pat Cummins, who played a useful captain's knock to kind of get Australia to somewhere respectable. And it was down to Peter Hanscom, really, who he was picked to bat well in these conditions, and he did. So yeah, we kind of questioned his place, but he did well. And I guess Travis Head as well. We wanted him back in. He didn't really do much. We said that Alex Carey might be able to provide a difference again. He didn't do much. So still missing a bit of Cameron Green potentially in the middle order, but who can say, because these Indian spinners are just very good. And they weren't troubled in their batting either. Australia bowled well, they bowled tight. Matthew Kuhneman opened the bowling, looked fairly decent, but there wasn't much to trouble the Indian openers. And it'd be interesting to see India's reply tomorrow, see if they can get a lead. And I reckon a first innings lead of more than 50 is going to be enough, really, to seal that victory. So Australia, India, I'd say India's day, but we'll see what happens with that. England, New Zealand, we were looking at quite a sizable England lead until Tom Blundell decided to do things at the tail. So if you've been watching the England versus New Zealand match, is setting itself up quite nicely, actually, because after England declared day one on 325 for 9, England response with the ball was amazing, really. Well, to start with, because James Anderson under the lights, really good. Ollie Robinson is bowling beautifully. His line and lengths are immaculate, and it's really hard for New Zealand to get on top of him, really. He looks really good. So yeah, really good start from England. However, Tom Blundell, he's a very good batter. He's very organized. He's great off the back foot, really good against spin. It's hard to see much weakness there. And England seem to not be able to bowl at Tom Blundell. He seems to be doing some really good things down the order. And those handy runs at the end cost England, really, because at one stage, New Zealand would have probably been looking at maybe 60, 70 runs behind England. But that last wicket partnership of about 60, that was enough to take New Zealand very close to England's score. Again, good bowling from the England seamers. However, we're just struggling to remove the tail, struggling to find that last wicket, which is all we needed. And it seems to be following England round at the moment. Ben Stokes, he seemed to bowl well, but I think he brought himself on a bit too late, and just came with this short bowling tactics, which worked. It was able to get out Devon Conway, but it was a bit of a soft dismissal at the end of the day. But the thing I want to focus on is Jack Leach, because it didn't look that threatening. I know they're setting attacking fields for him. I know they're giving him a lot of license, but he just doesn't seem like Rehan Ahmed against Pakistan. Seemed really attacking, looked like he was in the game at all times. Jack Leach, it doesn't seem like that, and that's something that England need to address. I know he's taken a lot of wickets over the last couple of years, but yeah, I just think that we need to address that. He either needs to get better, or we need to look at other options. But that's just my opinion. You might think differently. So what can England set New Zealand? That's the question. We're currently 98 runs ahead. Zach Crawley, it was annoying to lose him toward the end of the day. But yeah, what can we set New Zealand for the final innings? I don't know what's a good score. I don't know if 250 is good enough, maybe 350. I'm not sure, because it's not really doing too much for the seamers. Bowling under the lights is obviously key, but yeah, I just don't know what a good score is on this pitch. I reckon that's because of Bazball, the way they play, it just takes the pitch out of the equation in a lot of senses. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much England can extend their lead by. I reckon they'll be wanting excess of 400 to kind of take it away from New Zealand. But we'll see. But the one talking point for today for England versus New Zealand, well, there were two. There was Stuart Broad playing the Nighthawk. We got to see that for the first time, which almost cost him a wicket first ball, but it was the worst fielding I've seen in a long time from New Zealand, which should have been an easy take by the keeper. Bit of confusion between bowler and keeper. Stuart Broad stays in. So interesting to see that, but it'll be the whole idea of the Nighthawk is that the next day morning, if Stuart Broad hits 40 off 20 balls, it takes the sting out of New Zealand quite early on, puts them off the back foot straight away, and then England can go about their business in setting a good target. But the other talking point is there was a moment where Joe Root was bowling, and the batter came down the wicket, and they had to do a review and use Ultra Edge to test whether the ball had touched Root's shoe, which I thought was brilliant. That was excellent that they used Ultra Edge to see if it had hit Joe Root's shoe, to see if it was out. But that's that. England 98 runs ahead. 3 days still to play. I doubt that's going to go into the 5th day. I doubt the Australia-India game is going to go onto the 5th day. So it'll be interesting to see the results of both of these 2 test matches, which are setting themselves up very nicely indeed. So that's that. That's my analysis, my reviews. Feel free to leave your own ideas in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe. It's been awesome the last few videos, seeing the support we've been getting. So keep that coming. You can listen to us also on Spotify and Anchor FM and any other podcasting sites. You can also follow us on social media. We're getting more active on social media. So look at the link tree in the description below. And we look forward to seeing James and Benji back for our next podcast. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you later.